So here we are, Eamon, Infrared Heating Ireland. What are we going to talk about today? Well, let's talk about what people are asking us about infrared. So what do generally people ask us about our product? Well, we get questions like, if your product is so good, how come it's not more common? If the product is so efficient, how come more people aren't using it? And we started 2010, and we can now see in the last couple of years, people are looking to get away from oil and gas, and they're looking at electricity as a way of heating. And then that's how they're finding out about us. But once you start looking online, looking at our Google reviews, looking at our YouTube channel here, you start to understand that there is a lot of people using infrared. We've also a page on Facebook called Infrared User Experiences Ireland, and people can go on there and share. If they're new to the product, they can ask questions, and we have a lot of customers that are using our product who are on there as well. So if you look at that space of electric heating, you can see that you have a couple of options. You have the electric wall heater, you have the infrared panel, and you have the heat pump. So let's look at the heat pump. So if we compare our product to a heat pump, and we're not saying that a heat pump is not efficient. A heat pump is a great product. But what we are saying is that the frustrating part here is to achieve that efficiency, there's putting big cost on the person that's buying the system. Again, you buy the heat pump, you change out your rads, or if you're doing a retrofit, a lot of other work. If you're building a new house, you have all the pipe work, you have plumbers fees, which, a good plumber is expensive. And all this means that you're spending a lot more than we would see you need to achieve something that's efficient. Our system, infrared heating, with a good quality infrared panel and a good quality controller, is also very efficient. But when you break down the costs, so at the beginning you have the capital cost, right? So we would say that the capital cost to put in a heat pump versus an infrared panel system is probably 2.5 times more to put in the heat pump than the infrared panel system. Then every year, to maintain your warranty, you don't have to sign, you will pay a couple of €100 to maintain your system, for them to come in and have a look at it to maintain your warranty. Then over the next 15 years, as an example, 15, 20 years, things are going to go wrong. Sensors go, maybe a circulating pump goes, you'll have your plumber out, and things will go on a heat pump, because a heat pump is a refrigerated unit that requires maintenance. It has moving parts, it has sensors, and it's not only electrical, it's a plumber. So you have then to look at in 15 years time, what does the landscape look like in 15 years time? Well, in 15 years time, you haven't spent any money on your infrared panel system, but you have spent on your heat pump system. And then, because it's a refrigerated unit like your fridge in your house, in 15, 20 years time, you're going to have to replace the heat pump. So you have to factor in all these into it as well. So to achieve that efficiency, you have to spend all this other money. And that's the frustrating part when you're comparing, because everybody talks about the efficiency, but nobody talks about the cost to put in this gear. You can put in a good quality infrared panel system with a regulator controller at day one. You can heat the rooms you want to heat. You have no maintenance, no hassle. You can have, you can do everything that the heat pump can do, but you don't have the cost. And then that's the way you have to look at it. The other thing as well is you have no air movement. So I've had clients tell me that they have kids with asthma, that since they put in the infrared panels, that's more of a natural, comfortable heat in the room, that the child is the asthma has improved. Then I have a client that has told me that he has arthritis. Since he put in infrared panels, the arthritis has improved. So he went and done the whole house. So what I'm saying is that we have a lot of happy customers using our infrared panel system. And once you start looking at our videos, talking to the clients, you see that infrared is a viable heating solution. The other frustrating part is that there's a lot of houses in Ireland that are not suitable for a heat pump. So then people start to say, well, in order to qualify for a heat pump, I need to spend all this money on the insulation to get the insulation up in the house to qualify for the heat pump. because they need a B rating. With infrared, if you have to spend an extra 20% a year to run the system, but you have to spend all that money to increase your insulation, which could cost 30, 40,000. So if you spend an extra, 20% per year to run the panels, that makes more sense because you're not borrowing that money and paying interest rates on that money. If you're putting in a heat pump in your house, you have to borrow that extra money that you're going to pay back on the double because you've taken it from the bank. So you have to start looking at all this side of it as well, which in our game is very frustrating. That yes, we're hammered about running costs, we're hammered about the system, is it viable and does it work? But nobody questions the heat pump because the plumber says it's brilliant, because our government body says it's brilliant. But once we start bringing a new product to the market here, even though we're at it since 2010, we get slated. But thank God we have the backup to show that this system is a viable system that works very well. So listen, there's my rant over. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.